So the first two pain points were addressed in a very big way in the first 10-15 years of SEBI, what I call SEBI 1.0. The third pain point was addressed more recently. Because of the big strides SEBI made in secondary markets in the first 10-15 years, primary markets and say institutional investors like mutual funds did not get as much focus. So some of the big game-changing development work are coming up now in what I call SEBI 2.0. So for example, this pain point of IPO got addressed through a simple product called ASBA, application supported by blocked account. You apply, your money doesn't go to anybody. You simply, that much money in your bank account is blocked. After allotment, they have the right to claim to the extent of the allotment your money. So no more living in suspense as to when my refund order will come. No more living in suspense that God forbid if it doesn't come, the pain to get a duplicate refund order. So in this trust building process, from the standpoint of comfort for retail investors, I think the progress we've made in India over the last 15 years has been extraordinary. We now need to move to the other area, which is confidence. Confidence, not so much that there will be assurance of profits, because nobody can assure you profits. But confidence that this is a market where I will not get, there's a nice word in Hindi which I can't say, but where I will not get done in. That's the key thing. And that to me is really the challenge for the regulator to work on. And that comprises a few parts. How do you create confidence? I'm assuming everybody in this room, is there anyone in this room who doesn't invest? There's a little girl there, maybe you're too young. There.
I had invested a lot, my husband sold it to us. I cancelled everything. Yes, it's true.
Contrary to what most people will tell you, don't worry about timing. I hope you sold it at the right time.
I even took out the demat, everything.
Because of loss?
Because that pension fund, unit-linked pension fund, we got less, much less. We were supposed to get 13 and we got 8. He said, I want no more of all this nonsense.
Very nice. I hope somebody recorded that. This is music to my ears because I was involved in
how much I told him, don't do this. But no, everything, I don't want any more of your mutual funds, nothing. And I had somewhere else, in Tata Mutual also. No, Tata Shares.
I don't want to. Thank you for your comment. I think it's timely, but if I can request you to pause and we will engage in a discussion a little later. The reason I'm asking about anybody not investing is I think that some of the sentiment. So there are, just like there are two kinds of city bankers, they say, ex-city bankers and Y-city bankers. Right? Similarly, you have two kinds of investors, ex-investors and Y-investors. Right? So it is important to understand that the worst ambassadors or emissaries you would have for any product is a disgruntled consumer. So if she talks to 10 people, is she ever going to recommend to somebody, please go to capital markets?
I will not, my husband.
Excuse me. Please go back.
The point I'm making, I guess the disgruntled consumer in this case is the husband. The husband is the head and the wife is the neck. The neck determines which way the head goes. But be that as it may, the point I'm making is a bird in hand is worth two in a bush. But provided you know how to protect the bird in hand. Any product you see, they will tell you that I get new customers from my existing customers. But here, there is this bragging world, but fortunately that's limited, talks about I made so much money today. But there is this large world which feels done in, cheated, conned, or some such thing. And they are never ever going to say a good thing about markets. So everybody inside the system has to recognize that confidence will come if you can counter some of these. I want to put down what are the challenges therefore for SEBI in building that confidence. The first is what I call misbuying versus mis-selling. It's very common in India to confuse the two. But they are two different malays. They are two independent challenges and problems. Misbuying is about ignorance. I did not know that I was buying something which either had an equity component so high. I did not know I was buying something where 40% of what I put in was taken away as commissions. So that is ignorance. So to address misbuying, you need to invest in investor awareness and education. And you need to invest more to counter the campaign of people hurt, lost, disgruntled. Which was that soft drink, which overnight engaged Amitabh Bachchan to do the, or Amir Khan, one of them. When there is somebody campaigning against you, you need to do twice as much to win people over. I'm not saying win people over with smooth talk. I'm saying win people over with forceful arguments. So we need to embark on a very large scale investor awareness project. Now, investor awareness in capital markets is different from financial literacy. Financial literacy is the basics. What is money? How does money move? You need to open a bank account because that's the only way to move money. You need to take insurance against protection for the future. The risk in the future is twofold. You will either die too soon and therefore leave your dependents high and dry, or you will live too long because your health is so good and you may not have the income to support that. So insurance is both. But insurance is about covering risk, not taking risk. So that's the second thing you need. So in the financial cycle, first you need banking product. Then you need an insurance product. I'm talking about a true insurance product that is risk covering, not risk taking. And it's only after you graduate from this do you get into investment. So investor awareness is one step after. It's like you do your undergrad and then postgrad. So your undergrad is about financial inclusion, understanding the basics. Once you believe you've graduated, then you need to be taught about investments. So investor, and which is something I guess as the capital market regulator we have to take a big lead in. The only way you will address misbuying is through investor awareness and investor education. So what SEBI is trying to do is to see, which it's almost like piggyback on the infrastructure available in the government network. There are 600 plus districts, each district with a collector. And outside of the big cities, this is the most important person in that place. How do you leverage his network to push through a campaign that will educate people? Remember, while SEBI's preamble talks about market development does not mean developing commercial interests of market people.